How's it going there, folks? Hope we're all doing very well. Welcome back to the Division 10 to Elite guide on FC24. This is the third episode where we are talking everything FC24 gameplay. Today's episode, we are going to be focusing specifically on how you can get more out of your AI in the attack and build up, and what tools you can use. So we have the eye tracker on, we have the controller input on. We talked to you about everything that you need to do with kind of the 4 steps, I would say, for you to get more out of your movement from your players. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment below, and then I can answer them in the next episode, or just at least reply to you in that comment section. And as always, guys, if you enjoy it, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support has been greatly appreciated. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Our first opponent today then has got a relatively decent side. Haaland, want to be careful of just because of my defense not being the greatest. Van Dijk obviously kind of would have to try and deal with him as best as we can. So we are focusing today specifically on attacking and different attacking tools that we can use. We do have the controller. Obviously, we've got the eye tracker on as well. So we'll talk about everything that we're doing and why we're doing it, and how you guys can look to implement some of these tips in game. So we had a comment where a user was asking about, do I tap L1 like every time I pass the ball? So for a give and go. So if I hold L1 now and then press X, and we go like that, you can see how my centre back makes the run. Now, no, I don't do that. That's called a give and go. That is obviously, yes, very good in the attack. Like here, if I wanted to send my left back on the run and then look for that over the top through ball, you know, that's exactly what I do. Just find Lewandowski here, go for a little finesse near post, and I put it wide. So yeah, I do that in the attack when I want to go for 1-2s. In the last 2 episodes, we've been speaking about tapping L1, tapping L1, tapping L1. And that is LB on Xbox. And what that mainly means is when I'm talking about me wanting to trigger runners off the ball, basically. Because if you just go for a give and go all the time, it gets really easy for the opponent to read. So, take for example here, I have the ball within Kunku. I'm going to point my left analog stick at Lewandowski. So you see how he's just kind of not really doing anything? Now I've tapped L1, he's just going to keep running. And you know that you've done that when they put their arm out. See Adley there, that centre mid, he makes that run into the box because I've asked him to. Now what you can also do, if you find yourself, you know, in a position like where you get the ball out, say here, tap R1 in the direction of the right back, and you see how Ugart moves forward there. To show you again, the centre mid comes close. What else you can do is a double tap of R1, and you see how we have 2 players come close. In Kunku and Ugart, it was them. And that would be, again, RB on Xbox. You can do that when you want 2 players, you know, so you can have a little bit more options. So it's all about those bumper buttons and you kind of getting stuff done in that area. The attacking AI on FC24... and even FIFA's in the past, really, for a very long time now, haven't been good. They've been really, really poor. Now, we can make of that what we want, but what we can do is we can use the tools that we have available to us. That's a great save, by the way. We can use the tools that we have available to us to do it. So that is kind of like where I would start if you are getting a bit sick of the attacking AI and, you know, you're a little bit like, oh, I don't really know how to, like, have more movement. So start with that. Then once you've done that, what do you then move on to? Well, to kind of go in with that, actually, I do think as well, you having good vision and understanding build-up play and attacking patterns is kind of needed, really. You can't just trigger random people on a run and just expect it to work, right? So that is definitely something to think about. And also, what you'll find is that here, sometimes you'll accidentally send, see how I send the centre back there? If you then just double tap R1, you'll stop them going on a run. That's something that I realised with a lot of my coaching students. They will like send Van Dijk on a run here, and it's like you don't look at the whole Van Dijk leaves. So if you double tap R1, you'll stop them from carrying on with that run. And that will happen as kind of teething issues come through. So that's kind of like route 1 of what you can do. That's a crazy touch, Lewandowski. Little finesse. Nice. That is kind of where you start off. What do you then move on to once you felt comfortable with calling a player short, calling a player long? I would then say we would look to move on to creative runs. So creative runs are really good because what you can do is you can tap L1 and then you can actually flick the right stick where you want the player to run. So you saw those little lines come through from Lewandowski there. That's how you use a creative run. Now you can use it for them to change their angle of the run, or you can bring them close. It really depends on what you want. Now, the thing is with creative runs, you have 0.25 seconds to basically do the creative run without your player doing like a step over. So you see how like here I'm doing this, and you can see like the lines coming through. Lewandowski there, for example. You have 0.25 seconds to use that right stick after you've tapped L1, because if you say tap L1 and then you flick the right stick, you know, a second after, you may still get the creative run, but what will end up happening is you'll end up doing like a body feint or like a step over or something like that, because you're touching the right stick. FC24 definitely has a problem where it has too many overlapping buttons, so it is something that you will need to you know, be mindful of. So here you can see I've tapped L1, and you see how I ended up doing a step over there, how it was so like, because it was so much later, I didn't do it within the 0.25 seconds essentially. So something for you to you know, think of. Can I go for that finish? I can. That's a really good green, a really good finesse as well from Sanson. So that's kind of like step 2 in how you can attack a little bit better and get more out of your AI. And then step 3, which I would say is probably the biggest skill ceiling, which is player locks. It's where you press the left analog stick in, right, and then left analog stick and the right analog stick, and then you have to right stick switch. And then the AI will take control of the person that's on the ball, and you can just run around. And, you know, you can basically like move your player where you want. Like there, I can hold and ask for the pass back and so on. And then the 4th step to that is like cancelling it. So you see how they are, go back to Lewandowski by just tapping both sticks back in. That is like, you know, the 4th thing. So that really are like really good ways to get more out of the AI and get more movement. You know, when you play some people and you're like, man, they've just got so many runners, they've got options all the time, they know where to pass and go. There's a lot of that. And when I talk about all this, I'm not just saying like you can do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 and bang, you know, you've got it nailed. I think the real big thing about this is kind of like intuition and understanding, you know, in this formation, how do I want this centre mid to play? How do I want this striker to play? How do I want this winger to operate? And it's like you using those triangles and you using, you know, the 1-2s and the 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, getting the fullback involved in the attack. All of those little factors that I think play a massive part to you being able to create more chances, you know. So that is definitely something for you to think about. And kind of how do you build that intuition? Nothing more than just muscle memory with the team that you're using, the formation that you're using, and so on. You know, so many people all the time constantly change the tactics and formation and setup. And while there's like, you know, yes, there are obviously really good tactics and good, you know, formations to use, I'm a big believer in the best thing you can do is pick a formation that you want to use and get comfortable with it. You know, you'd fear the player that has played 1,000 games in the 4-4-2 more than that person that has played 40 games in that new OP tactic that, you know, a YouTuber or a pro has released. So that is definitely something for you to think about. If you are after a little bit more help on FC24, I do offer a one-to-one coaching service where you can sit down with me for an hour. We have conversations. We look over your own gameplay and fix everything that you need to hit higher ranks in champs, rivals, whatever it may be. Head over to alexbeeofficial.com if that interests you. And kind of like how it will play different play a part, I suppose, for you and kind of your build up and your ability in the final third. Now, to add on top of all of this, I think you've also got to look at like change of tempo. Sometimes be slow in the attack, sometimes be quick. Look for some first time passes, some quick give and goes. Sometimes this is a much better team. Okay, yeah, okay, we have got ourselves in for a battle here, by the way. And also, you know, you've got to understand like skill moves, when you can use them, how you can pass your way through, what sort of passes and so on. Again, and that's nothing more than practice. But if attacking AI and movement is something that you feel you struggle with, that is kind of where I would divert my attention. So I'm going to have to be on it this game. This guy's got a very, very good team. He's got some good players. So, but it's not all about the team. It's about the player. It's about what you can do on the sticks. I messed that up. I tried to right stick switch into Adley. It was little green. Oh, that's a crazy finish, by the way. So like here, you know, again, I preach about this a lot. Playing into your player's strengths. Lewandowski is unbelievable with finesse. He has the finesse shot plus play style. I want to play into that. If I get room on the edge of the box or I get one-on-one, I'm looking for a finesse with him because of how good his finesses are. Now, like here, I can go forward. I just hit this across goal actually and green it. Yeah, that's just a staple finish. This guy's going to be out of here, I think. that is something huge that so many people don't like really appreciate enough, that you've got to play to your player's strengths. And knowing that, okay, I can look for a finesse like that with Lewandowski. Can I do that with Werner? No, not so much. He hasn't got finesse shot plus, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But you get the idea. So definitely look to play into your team's strengths. Thank you all for watching. If you did miss any of our previous episodes and you want to catch them, you can click this up here and it'll take you over to the series playlist. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.